Hello. Can you hear me? I have a new setup. And I also have a new lipstick that I kind of want to try. How's everybody? Can you hear me okay? Oh, wait. I can't see you. Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay? Are you able to hear me? It's kind of strange how the messages are coming in. Um, but I can hear you. You hear me okay? All right. Wait, what am I supposed to? Okay, I have a new setup. I also have a new lipstick that I kind of want to try. How's that? Not good? I bought this in Korea. Not good, right? Not good for my complexion. Okay. Hi, everybody. Very natural. Okay, wait. My camera is kind of like weird. Is that good? Okay. I'm also wearing a pajama. You're gonna have to get used to me wearing pajamas because I'm gonna start working more from home. And then I have a new setup. Is it clearer than it used to be? Okay, wait, there. I don't know. That's kind of like I'm not sure. My dog is just staring at me. So I have a new setup. Um, there. So like a real podcaster mic now. There you go. Okay. I hope it's a new mic and it's an entirely like I bought wait, this is not a brand partnership by the way, but if you want to be partners with me, call me. This is what I bought just to improve the audio because a lot of people are complaining that most of the time like whenever I have a problem it's usually the audio problem. So I bought that and then I bought a new mic, this one. So yeah, I hope like no wait, where do I face? All right, so this is how I'm supposed to be oriented now. This is how it's okay. All right, so no, different. Wait, where am I supposed to? Okay, I'm still getting used to my new setup. Am I gonna do a late night chat? Yes, I'm gonna be doing a lot more live stream actually. So I opened membership in my YouTube, right? And so yeah, now I'm just going live whenever I want. Unfortunately, last weekend, so I went live, but it was just for members only, and they've been. I think they're gonna be like the recipient of all of my um, musings and how I process things and stuff like that. So wait, nope. So this is how I'm supposed to. Okay, there you go. This is how I'm supposed to do it, so that I'm sort of facing my camera. Is that okay? All right. I like the JK. I like JK the mic situation. Yeah, it's different. The one that he has is different, although that one is good as well. This and that one are the ones that are really used for podcasting. So one of the major things that I wanted to change, and I'm going to be talking with you guys on some of the major changes, and not really major changes, but like some of the improvements that I'm doing on the channel. One of which is to just improve like the quality of the audio and then eventually start improving the quality of the videos as well. So the first step though is the audio. So the YouTube people told me that viewers would actually prioritize audio over video. Like for them it doesn't matter if they are um, if they don't hear, like if you guys don't see the video very clearly for as long as the video looking for my angle, for as long as the audio is clear, you'd bear with it. So the priority always has to be sound. That's what they told us. So yeah, so that's one of the things that I did, because the mic that I used before this one was just like a $45 mic, which served its purpose. I mean, I've used it since the beginning. So even even before I started doing live streams, that was the mic that I was using. So it kind of like, you know, it has done its job. And I just think that now that I'm sort of changing things up, I need to level up the sound quality. So I guess, I don't know. I'm gonna figure out the camera situation, because I'm not happy with this. Maybe I don't know. All right. Yes, I for the Dallas people, congratulations. I know that you guys are excited, but let me say hi to everybody first. Yeah, I hope that it sounds better. At least I hope that it's like very very clear with not a lot of noise. It has noise canceling, so noise reducer, sorry. And so I'm hoping that you're not catching a lot of the background noise. Okay, Darlene, Lucy in the Sky, Arlene, MJD, I am Claudia, and Fire Butterfly, who's on Twitch, Sylvia, Warren, Angel Star, Erickson, and Melanie, Leah, Halina, Eliz, MJD, Lisa, Rachel, Dodger Girl, Sylvia, Arlise, Shaya, Rebecca, Amy, Shelling, Rachel, Helena, Viv, Orchid, Ras, Bob, Carla Girl, Carol, Abby, Not Very Normal, Ako 613 Bantan, Cali Coffee, Lorena, EG, BTS Paved the Way, Lisa, Crystal, Pinayonse, From Cali with Love, Cest, MLB, Lisa, Gigi, Ensign, Kathleen, Kemuning, Viv, Dodger Girl, Rebecca, Dawn Marie, Antine, Cindy, Me Too, BTS Eden, Elizabeth Lynn, Consuelo, Lisa, Gigi, Victoria, Elizabeth, Sonja, Pinayon, say, fairly in getting the pro setup. This actually has a voice changer. I was playing with it last night. It was so much fun. um, I'm gonna greet you with different voices. Let me see. Me too. How does it sound? Leia, Carol, Lisa, Gigi, Melva, Bang Luna. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for everybody in Dallas. Okay, different voice this time. Arlise. Do you hear a different voice? um, OSP, Crystal. Do we know if RM and Suga are back? That's the thing about LA people. We're not really concerned. We really won't tell you. Crystal, Elizabeth. Is it a different voice now? Okay, let's change it again. Okay, I don't know what kind of voice this is. Is this the male voice? Um, J, Amy Cohen, CC, Personal Space. Also on Twitch. Beth Davidson, F. Yukari, Teresa, Robin Carr, Elizabeth Besco, Hopia, Didi. Hopia is like a bread, a type of bread, a type of pastry in the Philippines. Um, okay, I think I've said hi to everybody. Lily, Fire Butterfly, thank you for leveling up the account. Okay, I'm gonna change the voice again. Does it sound different? I think this is the male voice. It doesn't sound different. Okay. I thought when I do the voice changer, it's supposed to change. Okay. Voice is the same. Okay. It has a voice changer. I guess it only works when it's like recording. Because last night I was playing with it and it was like, oh, maybe I need to. How about now? Is it changing? No change? I thought maybe maybe if I increase you're not hearing the voice change. Okay. All right. I thought it was going to work. Okay. So maybe if it's just for recording, not really for live streaming. But okay, what matters is that it is clear. So that's fine. Maybe I have to restart. I don't know. I'll do one of the voiceovers in a different voice. So I thought that was gonna work because in the when I was recording the voiceover for the video for tonight and for tomorrow, I tried changing the voice and it was so much fun because I sounded like a little like um what do you call this a fairy. And then I started sounding like a witch and then I started sounding like a man. um okay, so hi everyone. I don't know why my okay, I guess this is the were you inspired by JK's new mic? No, I actually have had this for a while. It's just that I haven't really had the time to set it up until recently because, some changes. I'm finally having some time for myself. So, uh, yeah, that was, and then so I finally had a chance to set it up. This one, again, not brand partnership, but this one I've had it for like 2 months, for 3 months or something like that. So it's been with me for a while. And then I bought the mic about 2 weeks ago and I finally had a chance to set it up. So, but yeah, there's some things that I'm trying to change up. Also, I will be streaming from other places, maybe, most likely. So I opened up membership in YouTube. There, I'm sort of a little bit more unfiltered. I just talk about everything, whatever is happening in my life and all of those stuff. So, yeah. So one of the things that I am going to be doing is to just go live on certain things like when I go to the park with my dog or go to the beach or go to museums or whatever, I'll take you guys with me. So yeah. Became a member level. Oh, thank you, Don Marie. Yeah, it's just like I feel so bad for the it's like last Sunday while Debak was harassing a squirrel. I just started going through the things that was things that were happening in my life, and I'm like, these are the options and these are the options and whatever. So I don't know if the members liked it. I don't know if that's what they signed up for, but they were the only thing I didn't like was that because I was using my phone to do the live stream, I really couldn't read the comments because they're so small. I really couldn't read it. So I don't know what to do with that, but they were just really so small. But and then the other thing is I didn't bring a tripod. So I actually had to hold the mic, not hold the mic, but hold and then I didn't have the mic, so hold the phone. And so I was like really in their face. So I apologize. But I'm starting to like sort of find my groove into that. Once it's a little bit more settled, then I'll let yeah, I'll do it more often. So Debak is harassing Obi. He always does. So he found like there were so many squirrels last Sunday. So he had a lot of fun chasing them. But what do you want to talk about first? Evie, hope you're getting better. Oh, Evie's sick. Evie, I hope that. Oh, he heard his name. Do you want to say hi, baby? Want to say hi? Come on, come on, come on. He wants to say hi. Come on, let's go. Come on, come on. He's gonna say hi. Okay. Okay. Talk about your adventure last. Okay. Wait. Why don't you talk about your adventure last Sunday? Tell them about the many squirrels that you harassed. How's that? He had a haircut. So my mom and I went to watch Superman last Saturday, and I took him while we're washing. I took him to the groomer, so I think he had fun. No, he definitely didn't have fun. He doesn't like getting groomed, but yeah. So he's groomed now. No more hair, a lot of hair. So, but I am not. I should have caught my bangs. Say hi, baby. Hi. Say hi, hi. Hi, hi, hi. Say hi. Okay, what do you want to first? What do you want to discuss first? So we have four topics, five actually. The fifth one is some of the developments that are happening in my life and the things like, as I've said, some of the changes I'm going to be implementing. And then we have, we're going to talk about BTS, and then wait a minute. Yeah, we're going to be talking about BTS, the new project that I'm starting for their legacy. We're going to be talking about BELIFT LAB, the last hearing. And then, so what do you want to talk about first? Deb, are you going to Dallas or Jersey? Jersey. I'm going to Jersey. I'm still waiting for the tickets, still not there. If I don't get the tickets for the Jersey people, if I don't get the tickets by tomorrow, by today, I'm going to email them tomorrow to follow up. Um, there's another question. Fairlane question. I don't know how to solve this. Due to the fees of Apple adds to YouTube, the iOS version of YouTube does not have a join button at all. So it's not possible for me to join. Join what? The membership? You can't subscribe to the membership? Even if it's due to the fees Apple adds to YouTube, the iOS version. So for you to download YouTube on your phone, you have to pay. Is that what they did? Well, you can use your PC. Is that what you mean? Let's do the bad things first. Let's get them out of the way. I'll join the YouTube after next week. BTS, I can go to so I can go to sleep. Let's do bad things first. Let's do Yang Yunsuk. How's that? Let's do Yang Yunsuk. So he was sentenced to he was found guilty, and he is sentenced to 6 months, but it is suspended for a year. So in effect, he's actually avoided. Oh, doggy, you have ice cream fund for your debt for you. How about I add that to his airfare? How's that? So that he comes closer to having his own seat in the plane. Okay, say thank you, BB. Thank you. Say thank you. Thank you, Angel Star. Thank you. Okay. I'm already doing Yang Yun Suk, and then I'll do BTS. Okay. So it is suspended for 6 months. He has, sorry, not suspended for 6 months. It is suspended for 1 year. So he was found guilty, sentenced to 6 months in prison, but suspended for a year. So in effect, he actually avoided jail time. Okay, so I'm not so happy about that. But So this is what happened. Let me see. Okay, there. So this is BI. He is the former leader of ICON, and he was roped into this controversy. It's a little bit more complicated because BI actually denied having taken drugs. Marijuana is actually illegal in Korea. That is considered illegal drug in Korea, and that is what he was trying to purchase. So what happened was that he tried purchasing it. He wasn't able to purchase it, or he changed his mind. He submitted himself to a he submitted himself to, oh, I know what to do. So that, there you go. So he submitted himself to some to a medical examination, and he was found clear. So he was cleared of any kind of drug traces in his body, in his blood. So, and then he later on explained that it is true that he tried to purchase marijuana, but he didn't push through with it because he got cold feet. Basically, he got scared. So he decided he wasn't going to do it. Now, what happened was that there was a whistleblower, and her name is Han So-hee, not to be mistaken with the other Han So-hee, the actress. So she was a trainee in YG, and she almost debuted, and they said that she's actually good. And she actually performed several times on her live stream. She would dance and she would sing. I mean, in terms of raw talent, she's not bad. She's not the best, but I wouldn't say she's bad. She's definitely way better than many others who managed to debut. So in 2016, the former trainee Han So-hee, she told the police that BI, oh, Tisa, thank you. Tisa, say thank you, baby. Say thank you, thank you, thank you. We will add it to his airfare fund. Thank you. Okay, so she told the police that BI tried to purchase marijuana. So that's what she told the police. She also claimed, however, that YG's founder, you want to go down? You don't want to? Okay. So she also claimed that YG's founder, which is Yang Yun Sok, pressured her to keep quiet. So what happened was that she was already she started talking about different like idols in the industry who was um, airfare for Debak. Okay, that was an airfare for you, baby. So thank you, Tisa. So she was starting to like talk about different idols, different scandals. She was just like really loose. She was mentioning everybody, and but many of the idols that she mentioned were under YG because that's where she trained. And so one of the people that she mentioned is BI. She said that she helped him try to get drugs, which is marijuana. And what happened was she told the police that YG, Yang Yun Suk, tried to stop her from talking to the police. And as proof, this is not BI is certainly not the first idol that she talked about. So she claimed that Yang Yun Suk threatened her that if she pushes through with all the things that she was doing, he was gonna take care of her. Now, she said that Yang Yun Suk called her for a private meeting, so she went to the building, the office of YG Entertainment, so for a meeting with Yang Yun Suk. And as proof, she said that she took a picture of her in the restroom, and this is the picture. She uploaded it on her Instagram, and she said that she wanted to take this picture just in case Yang Yun Suk denies that he requested to meet with her. She wanted to have some proof. So I think this is the elevator, and then she said that she has some pictures she took when she was inside the restroom, and then she was able to sneak in a picture inside the office of Yang Yun Suk. The other photos that she claimed to have had, she never published. This is the only photo that she published, but she said that she was going to submit it to the police to prove that she was indeed in the office of Yang Yun Suk. Okay. and that in there, Yang Yun Suk threatened her that he was going to take care of her if she does not shut up. So lawsuits flew. In the first trial, lower court, Yang Yun Suk was found not guilty. And the court said that the words that he said didn't clearly pose any kind of threat. Like it wasn't clear that he was threatening you. He could have said something else and you misinterpreted it to be something else. Okay, so he was cleared in the lower court. And so they take it higher. The prosecutors added a new charge, which is coercion. So this is when Han So-hee disclosed to the police she that Yang Yun Suk requested her to go to the building. So they added another charge, which is coercion, and that is the charge that stuck. So Yang Yun Suk was found guilty uh, for coercion. Now, of course, he appealed to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court found him guilty. So they upheld the decision of the second trial, but it is a suspended sentence. So he is avoiding jail time. So essentially, a suspended sentence means that you will not have to serve unless you actually break your probation. So if you do anything that would violate the terms of your probation, then that's when you're going to go to jail. And they usually do this for first time offenders. Okay. All right. So here is, let's open this. Are you okay, baby? Are you having a hard time? Do you want to go down? Okay. Want to go down? Okay. She's not comfortable. All right. Okay. Say bye bye, baby. Say bye bye. Say bye bye. Say bye, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Say bye bye. Say bye bye. Okay. All right. Okay. He doesn't feel comfortable. All right. Let me pull this closer. Okay. So coercion. Yeah. So someone said that she is confused. Let me pull up the article. It's here. Um, I'm still getting used to this setup. So, okay. Let me pull up the article. My dog is not very happy because he wanted to go out to play. All right, let me share with you the article. Okay, you can see it. You can see it, right? You should be able to see it. Okay, there. So this is the article. So aside from Bi, she was talking about other idols, including Top of Big Bang. So essentially what the this documents like all the things that she has been saying, stuff like that. This is a photo that she published. So if you want to check it out, I will paste the link in the description box, but that is where that's my source. It's one of the many publications that actually wrote about what happened. Okay. So all right. So okay. So they found him guilty for coercion, basically because he forced her to not say anything to the police. That's what the charge was about. That's what he was found guilty on. But the other charges dropped. It was just coercion. So that's why it was only 6 months. All right. So going back, sorry, I'm still getting used to this setup. So, okay. So He appealed, as I've said, he appealed to the Supreme Court, but on July 18, the Supreme Court upheld the lower court's decision. And the final verdict is that he is guilty of coercion. So no jail time unless he violates his probation. All right. So now that girl, Han So-hee, actually said that she didn't want any jail time for him. Of course, it's not up to her because it's a criminal charge. But initially, she was saying, I don't want him to go to jail. I just want him to apologize to me. He never apologized to her. He preferred to go to jail. Well, he's not going to go to jail, but he preferred to go through the trial. And now he was found guilty instead of. So it's going to go to his criminal record. It's going to go to his record. So he just refused to apologize to her, basically, is what happened. So he opted to actually go to trial instead of apologizing to her. Because what she was initially saying is that if he apologizes to me publicly and privately, then I will drop the charges. Of course, again, it's not up to him because it's a criminal case. I don't know if you guys know that, but if it is a criminal case, at least in the US and in many other countries, if it is a criminal case, it's not up to the person, but it's up to the prosecution office. Now, of course, it is significant because this is the very first time a major K-pop CEO has been convicted in any kind of case involving drugs scandal. And the thing is that this is a big issue in the entertainment industry because there are talks that there are actually a lot of idols who have been using drugs. I just want to clarify that marijuana is considered an illegal drug in South Korea. So marijuana is actually included in the illegal drugs name. So a lot of people are saying that there's actually a lot of idols like marijuana is so common in the Korean entertainment industry. It's just that they're not getting caught. And so this is the first time where a CEO was actually convicted for a crime involving marijuana. Okay. So, however, the outside of BI, there was another idol that Han So-hee tried to pull in. Well, she pulled in the case. Originally, it was TOP, and it was wild because originally, all she was saying is that that they were dating, that she dated TOP, and that was like a huge issue for a lot of VIPs because TOP is so private. He's such a private person. You don't really, I guess. Well, every member of Big Bang they were all private people, and they didn't really disclose their relationships outside of Taeyang. And Taeyang's relationship was so unique because he sort of led into it, like he prepared the VIPs for about 2 years. For about 2 years, he was just talking about wanting a relationship. He's never had a relationship, wanting a relationship. And then after 2 years, he finally had a relationship. So that's like a unique kind of setup for him. However, so for TOP, he's known to be quiet. He's known to be like the snobbish one in the group. And so when people heard that he was actually dating somebody like Han So, he like, oh my God, he's dating or whatever. And then she disclosed that and I think people sort of denied that they were seeing each other. I don't quite remember if TOP personally denied it, but that kind of angered her, and that's what sort of motivated her to disclose all of these things. And so she started talking about TOP taking marijuana with her. So she said like, oh no, we smoked it together, like we would buy it together and we would smoke it together. So all right, so that's what she said. And so that was a huge thing. And TOP at that time was enlisting. He was in the military. So TOP was charged and prosecuted under South Korea's strict drug laws, and he was found guilty. And it was 10 months in prison, but he was suspended for 2 years. And so, like Yang Yan Sok, he avoided jail time. So, for as long as he didn't violate any of his probation, then he wouldn't go to jail. So, for him, however, it took a toll on him because although he was like seen as the very snobbish member of Big Bang, he had pristine reputation. Very few things are known about his private life. That's how private he was. And so for people to learn things about this, it kind of ruined his reputation. So shortly after the news broke, TOP was actually found unconscious. He was found unconscious from drug overdose, and he was in the military at that time. So the overdose, though, it was actually prescribed medication. So he didn't get anything illegal. He had medication and he overdosed on them. So it was eerie because the day before, a friend of mine was and is a diehard VIP. So we were watching some videos of TOP walking out of a building after all of these accusations about him taking drugs, about He, of course, the media was trying to get his he was they were trying to get his attention, trying to get him to answer some questions. And he sort of smiled, and it was eerie because my friend actually said, like, he's gonna do something. That smile means something. And this is just a fan. She doesn't know the Big Bang personally. I was like, whatever. And then the next day, it was revealed that he tried to take his own life. So it was like he took a major hit. His image took a major hit, and then eventually he left Big Bang. So for a time before he formally announced that he was leaving Big Bang, GD was posting pictures of him and TOP, and VIPs actually interpreted it to be GD's way of expressing support for TOP. So yeah, and then Carla was asking, was TOP trying to harm himself or was it just an accident? Later on, gave an interview about it, and he addressed it as attempted suicide. So yeah, he sort of alluded to himself actually trying to harm himself because of it. So he sort of confirmed that it wasn't an accident. He did it intentionally. He tried to harm himself. So um, so now Bi left the icon and he left Big Bang. So right now there are only three members in Big Bang: GD, Taeyang, and the other one I can't remember the name. So, not Sungri, Desong. Okay, Desong. All right. So there are only three members, but the thing is that um, YG has this, like, I guess it's because of the culture that they're cultivating. Because this is certainly not the first time. GD himself was actually caught smoking on screen, like he was caught smoking. Now, like, I can still remember the video. He was in a bar of some sort, and then he was going down the staircase, and he was holding the blunt. And then I think he saw the camera because he threw it away. Did he throw it away? But anyway, so later on he did admit it was marijuana. However, he said that he didn't know it was blunt, and he thought it was a cigarette, and that's why he received it. He just, like, his smoked it. And in my head I was like, come on. The very first time I smelled marijuana, I knew it was blunt. I don't take drugs, any kind of drugs, never did, don't have any plans of doing that. But I knew the moment I smelled, I knew it was just like, oh, that's what it smells like, and it smells horrible. So in my head, it was like, come on, you knew what it was. You knew what it was they were handing to you. Maybe it was your first time smoking it, but you knew what it was that they were handing to you. But the how he looked, I mean, the way that he smoked it, it was very obvious that it wasn't his first time smoking in general. Maybe he smoked cigarettes or whatever. So, like, for a really long time, that agency was, like, starting to be known for being a hub of this, like, idols who are getting into it. However, as I've said, I don't want to be unfair, just because that's simply because other agencies haven't been caught doesn't mean that idols there have never used it, right? It's just that YG artists have been caught. So anyway, so that's the situation. Now, the only other thing that I want to sort of highlight is how different the media is actually reporting about this. because this is a huge thing. This is one guy who threatened an artist, a former trainee, and a girl at that, a female at that, and no one's really talking about it, right? I mean, I to a certain extent, I mean, okay, I get if you're going to criticize me for it, but I kind of get what he was trying to do. He was trying to protect his investment, and BI was the leader of Icon, so I'm sure he didn't want him to get in trouble. So I kind of get what he was trying to do. I do not condone it, but I get what he was trying to do. Um, but but still, the mere fact that he did it to a woman, he called her in his space. He called her in his space, threatened her, which he never denied. Well, he never denied saying the things that he said. It's just that he's saying it was a misinterpretation. So the mere fact that he did that to a woman, it's surprising that the media, like, no one's really paying, no one's highlighting this, no one's hyping it. And compare that to how the media was highlighting and hyping the case against Bang Shiyok, I would you would think, by any measure, I mean, by any ethical and moral lesson, I would say that threatening a younger woman in your own space, in your own office, is way worse than cheating other millionaires of their money. So, but it's just like the difference in how the media is treating the news is just so pronounced that this isn't about the values that they're trying to uphold. It's just that they know that Bang Shiyuk's case is going to get more clicks and going to get more engagement. And so that's what they're writing about. But at least in my opinion, I Bang Shiyuk, I mean, young Yunsuk should not be allowed around women anymore, right? Especially younger women. Because if you can do that to one woman, one young woman, then you can do it to anybody. Okay. Um, Not in a misogynistic society, it's a normal occurrence. Once you smell marijuana, my mouth tastes bitter. It's weird. It shows how male and female are treated in South Korea. True, Bang Shiok is still innocent until proven guilty. YG is already proven guilty. YG and SM get away with anything. It is, yeah, it's just that in any measure, I think at the very least, right? At the very least, I would expect at least every publication to be writing what, two articles about this thing, and they're just not. So it's shocking how blatant they are. It's not shocking to me that they're doing it. It's just that they're so blatant about it. Like they're not even trying to cover it up. So it's so very obvious that all this discussion about morality and ethical standard, that's not the real thing about this case with Bang Shiok. It's just that it's a witch hunt. They just want somebody, they just want clicks, they want engagement, they want to um, destroy hype. So the way he gaslighted into marrying his young wife is disgusting. Yeah, so I think he met the wife like at 15 or something like that. I'm not really quite sure. Um, well, they are still married, so they are still together. But yeah, the girl was very young when they met. Why is why is Hybe Bang Shiyuk always the punching bag by media? What gives? Um, BTS. BTS. It's the company that BTS built. So, and because I've mentioned before, BTS is virtually untouchable because majority of the fans, I think we know now, the majority after PTD, the majority of the fans are really coming from overseas. Um, we don't care about these things, right? As Western fans, we don't care about these things. Like, look at what's happening with Justin Bieber. I mean, he still had a great performance despite the surprise drop, despite his supposed alleged return to smoking blunt, he's still being supported by fans because at the end of the day, no one really cares. He's battling people left and right, cutting off relationships and whatever. Fans don't care. They still want him. They're still there for him. So that's the same thing for BTS and the fans, like the Western fans. We won't care. We're not gonna care. It's we're we're going to support them. So the only thing that they can do to try and destroy BTS is by going after the things that BTS built, and that includes hype. What company is better? There is no company that's better. Unfortunately, there's no company that's better. Even fans of artists of their own company are letting them be in peace. Had got used to this hate at this point. I think they are kind of used to it in a sense that um, they have a huge team of lawyers, very well paid, and they're all like doing their part to make sure that the decisions go their way, and they're doing a great job so far. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I think one of the best things really that Bang Shiyuk did is to set up Big Hit as a private company, and that sort of shields BTS from all this noise because it's a private company. So, and then if the talk on the street is actually correct, then the control that they have is basically theirs. Eventually it's going to be theirs. So I don't. Again, those are rumors. I don't know if that is true. And then Bang Shiyuk actually stepping away from his involvement. He has not been involved for the longest time with BTS. Um, I think he stopped like I think by the time they got their I think by the time even before pandemic, he wasn't closely involved in the development and the production of their music anymore. And even more so now that BTS has done like individual work. That's why I remember Bang Shiyuk saying that when he watched J Hope in his solo concert, he was very impressed with what he saw because he has no involvement. I think that decision to remove himself away from BTS, uh, and I think that natural evolution of BTS being independent after some time having that experience, being knowing themselves better as artists. I think that movement actually is very good for BTS because it's shielding them from any kind of trouble. Like whatever hype is going through, BTS is not included in that. They have a private company. They make their own decisions. They're here in the US making music. They're able to go in and out of the country. I know that a lot of you doubted LA, but I've mentioned before, I'm not an I told you so person, but I mentioned before that they will be able to move freely here. And now they're able to go in and out of the country without them being spotted. And I know that there are some isolated like incidents where they are getting photographed, having dinner and whatnot. But for the most part, you don't see them for the rest of the day, right? So it's not perfect, but at least they're able to move in and out of the country freely. So I think all of those things, them making that decision to stay here for a while, finish the albums, they're shielded, they're away from it because no one can even talk about them being under high because it's a private company. um Bang Shuk is producing for Islet. Yeah, I think he's kind of like that's his rhythm. He would be involved, like closely involved in the beginning, and then he will let go because it's the same thing for TXT. In the beginning, he was highly involved, and then he let go. Same thing for Les Seraphim. He's starting to let go. I think once he kind of realizes, okay, the group already knows their creative direction and where they're going, he starts letting go because Yunjin is starting to take control of the creatives a little bit more. I think he kind of like, "Ah, okay, there's somebody there that will oversee all of this. Then he starts, and I think that's the same thing that will happen to Eyelid once the girls come to their own, become a bit more sure of who they are creatively. I think he will also start letting go. The guys have access to so many people in the industry for their music here in LA and the US. Correct. Okay. So that's what's the latest with Yang Yun Suk. I mean, I of course you'll take any kind of victory where you can get it. My only hope was that the result was going to be better, right? I wish there was jail time, but he is a first time offender. And as I've mentioned, when I heard about it, I kind of understood what he was trying to do. I think to him, he was just trying to protect his investment. He did it the wrong way. And then the other thing is that he just got caught. But I think that's all he was doing. He was trying to protect his investment. But okay, I think maybe Angelinas are very blasé about famous people. Here, a star there, everywhere, a star. Well, that's true. We see many of them like walking around, so we don't really. But still, if you're in the army, right, and you see them, still they have a different effect. But yeah, I mean, um, when I saw Hobie here, and I think I mentioned I saw him 3 times. When I saw Hobie here, it's not that people didn't know who he was. It's just that it was like, oh, that's J Hope from BTS. It's like, okay, and then people move, like they move along. Say, okay, yeah, we're gonna go our way. Okay, next let's talk about this one first. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to show you. Here, maybe. Okay, this is your emotional support picture of the day. I know that at the end of it, I know that he wore another top. And this time it was just the top, no jacket, but it was a shorter sleeve, not sleeveless, but it was a shorter sleeve, and it was way, way tighter. So I guess I was actually asking people in Patreon, is the plan for him to start, for the shirt to go tighter and tighter the deeper he goes into east of US, and then eventually you just lose it altogether. But that's your emotional support picture of the day. Congratulations to everybody. I mean, obviously he's working out, although he's very humble about it. But he's working out, and we should appreciate it because he is working hard for it. So the muscle shirt. I know the picture is there at the end of that. Okay. Now to balance things out, I did prepare the acne line. So you have some hotness and then you have some cuteness. So although V is just hot, regardless, he's always just hot. So you have that's a very very young Jimin and a very young Jungkook, and then not so young V. But look at his face. That's like a face that will launch 1,000 brands, don't you think? Look at the face of V. Like he has no angle. You can you can be running, or he can be running, take a picture, and it'll turn out good. That's how good looking he is. Look at that. Okay, so those are your emotional support pictures of the day. But congratulations, because Permission to Dance on Stage becomes the first live album by an Asian act to debut at #1 in worldwide European iTunes album charts, and it breaks the record for the best-selling live album in Hanto history. I know that there are so many people who were doubting whether we can deliver the same result if we will be supporting this album. Clearly, we did. We did it in a different way because we're streaming more than we're buying, but that is just the way to go. As you know, people, the industry, specifically the charts in the US, have largely limited the amount of albums that you can buy. And so our effort should actually be directed towards streaming. So it is now the best selling live album in Hanto history, and also the first live album by an Asian act to debut at #1 in worldwide and European iTunes chart. Okay, congratulations. And of course, the lead single Permission to Dance debuted at #1 worldwide iTunes chart and #2 European iTunes chart. Also #1 in 36 country. That was like 2 hours after it was launched. all 22 tracks of worldwide of the all 22 tracks of the album actually entered the top 40 of worldwide iTunes and the top 60 of European iTunes. And all 22 songs have also debuted in US iTunes. So, people, we're here. I know a lot of people were so nervous. Are we gonna support? Are we gonna? Why are we not trending? We're here, all right. And the U. I know for sure. I know for a fact that U.S. armies are here. We're still streaming, and we're not gonna stop. Okay, don't worry. There's like the chaos in the timeline was just crazy. So they also surpassed Beyonce's Homecoming as the biggest live album debut in Spotify history with 14.5 million, almost double that of Beyonce. So, that's Beyonce. So that says a lot on how powerful armies are. So there was one army who actually tracked which which day the songs were taken, because the live album didn't specify which concert the song was taken from. So she tracked it. Kudos to her for doing this. So you can see here, like, On was in Seoul day one, and then Fire was in Las Vegas day three. Dope was Las Vegas day two. I was actually in LA. So those are the tracks. If you're interested in knowing where the which performance the song was lifted from, these are the tracks. So all 22 entered iTunes chart US. Now, another news is that V and Jungkook refuses to settle with Sojang. So there are talks that this Sojang is actually a guy and not a girl. I'm not sure if these are just jokes. So, but that's what people are saying online, that is actually a guy. But apparently, the reason Jungkook and V decided to push through with the case is that she refuses, or he refuses, I don't know. This person refuses to apologize and own up to what she was doing. And she has actually said that she will continue doing it. So that's why Jungkook and V decided to push through with the case. So they're going to take this. They will seek for not just settlements, but they will seek for whatever, jail time, whatever is appropriate. So they're not stopping. It's sad because there's so many things, like it. This is her. I don't know if it is true that she's a girl, that she's a boy, but that's her. Um, I also think that her face should be published because all the people that she is maligning, are their faces are getting published. So I don't understand why hers shouldn't be published. So Sojang is a girl. I know that's what I thought, but people online were saying that she's a girl. Oh, there's another lipstick that I wanted to try, but I'll try it next time. So okay, but anyway, I think that her face should be published because the all the people that she's hurting, they're everyone knows who they are. Everyone can read. Why does she get to enjoy anonymity? I think it's time for people to be accountable. If you are gonna go online and bash people, and it's not even constructive criticism, right? It's not even just constructive criticism. People are just bashing her. I mean, people are just like, she is just bashing different idols, baseless. So I think people should be held accountable. Anybody who's going to go online and start talking trash about other people, if you don't have proof, I think you have to be held accountable. So I think faces, identity should actually be revealed in that case. But okay, people are saying that in the US it is part of your freedom of expression. So that is protected. You can say these things. So unfortunately, but that's her. Okay. More pictures. This came from the Permission to Dance live album. Love this picture. Don't you love that picture? More pictures here. Love it. Permission to Dance. This is just your emotional support pictures. Okay, another news that I forgot to paste here is that Twice allegedly renewed their contract with JYP for the second time. So they renewed for another 3 years. They're gonna go to 13 years, I guess, with JYP because they had an initial 7 years. They renewed for 3 years, and now they renewed again. So that's gonna be a total of 13 years. I don't know if this is going to be their last renewal, or what's going to happen in the future. But at least because they are my favorite group, I am happy that they get to stay another 3 years together. It they probably tried to be an idol, failed, and is attacking popular idols, blast her face across all media. Probably won't happen. Um, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. But I just feel that show you it's this is one thing I was really very I agree with when X was saying that part of the reason they are boosting people that are verifying their accounts is so that because it's one way of raising credibility, right? Because if you are going to be held accountable, with the things that you are saying, for the things that you are saying, then you're going to be more careful. You don't have to lie. You just need to be careful with your words. And so I was really in favor of that. That if you want to be an influencer, it's one thing to just comment, right? But if you are trying to become an influencer or become or building a stronger voice, in my opinion, you have to be visible. But anyway, okay, who renewed twice, renewed for another, I think for another 3 years. So yeah, I'm happy because they're my favorite girl group, so they get to stay another 3 years together. And it's very, I think one of the things is that I still feel that it's very obvious that they are still enjoying what they are doing. In their last performance, you can just see the joy that they have in being able to go on stage and just perform. So I think they still have it in them. They have 5 more years together, so I think they should do it. And then after that, that's when they start thinking about what they're going to be doing with their lives. Maybe some of them are going to get married. Who knows? Okay, so okay, more pictures, more emotional support pictures. Fairly love your talks. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Bea. Okay. I love this picture too. Anyway, all the pictures that I included here as your emotional support pictures, I love all of them. But I really love this. That 12, I think it was 12, right? Including the South Korean one. That 12 series of shows. We can't even call it like a tour because they didn't call it a tour, but those 12 shows. I love these pictures. I was watching some of the clips and I remember like Suga was saying that they were going to like rob the store, and RM said like, well, we own the stores. But I love this. Okay, more pictures. Okay, PTD General Store. Okay, my dog is trying to get behind me. All right, a couple of more pictures. Oh, this one I was so Coldplay has finally surpassed 40 billion streams in in Spotify across all credits, and they are the second group to do so. And someone DM'd me and it was like, who's the first? And I just guessed. I didn't even know. I said BTS. And then I verified later and it was BTS that crossed 40 billion streams first. And I just want to like call everybody's attention to how great this achievement is, because Coldplay is by no means uh, a second tier band. This is a very successful band, one of the biggest ever in the world. And I mean, look at their tour, right? The amount of people that are coming to watch them, and for them to be only second to BTS in the number of streams, that says a lot. That says a lot. So, just want to call attention as to how big that achievement is. Let's appreciate that, because that really says a lot. But congratulations to them. And if you have been keeping up with the the Coldplay couple. I've been posting some updates on Patreon about it. If I don't know if you remember, but there is this couple that was caught on kiss cam. It's not really a kiss cam, but a couple cam or something. And it was funny because when I first watched it, I was watching it on mute, as I usually do with many videos. I usually watch it on mute first, because and then I didn't realize that Chris Martin actually talked about it. That, like, he sort of spoke about it, without even knowing that it was real. So do you want to come here? But you weren't comfortable. You weren't comfortable earlier. Yeah. Okay. So you really wanted to, but you weren't comfortable. You just want to say hi. Okay, come. You were there when it happened. Anyway, so I did not realize that Chris Martin said that it was either they're extremely shy or they're having an affair, and it turned out they were having an affair. So it was really so funny to me that I discovered it later. Now, of course, there are children involved. The guy has two kids, and so I actually stopped talking about it because of the two kids. On the other hand, I do think that, you know, a marriage is a contract, right? It's a contract, and so in any kind of contract, if there is a violation, it's grounds for whatever kind of, like, legal action. So, and that's what he did. He violated, and I think that's what we usually miss about marriages, that it is a legal commitment. You signed a contract, and in that contract you're pledging to be loyal to your partner. So to a certain extent, I kind of feel like we should look at this again in such, we should consider this a heinous, like, this has to be a bad crime again, because what he did um is bad. He violated a contract. That's, one. But of course, that he vowed to protect and be loyal to his wife, and he didn't do it. But anyway, so the only thing I kind of, the only reason I want the all of those, like, fun thing, those funny memes, the only reason I want those things to stop is because of the kids, because I'm sure that the kids already know about it. They're probably getting teased at school or whatever, and who knows how that's going to affect the kids, right? So for their sake, I hope it slows down very, very soon, because my gosh, the memes are just, all cheaters deserve to get exposed. They do deserve to get exposed. But as I've said, it's just that the kids, that's the only thing I was thinking of. Like, the kids, they must know by now. However, they said their own, I mean, they are teenagers, doesn't make it any less easy. It's not easier just because you're a teenager, knowing that your father betrayed your mom, right? So for them, I wish things are gonna slow down. He resigned from his position, so yeah. This thing is everywhere. I know it is everywhere. Yeah, not just him. They put themselves out there in a super public place. If they were longtime Coldplay fans, they knew it was possible to be spotted. Yeah, and it was. I mean, very, very public. They're saying that the people in the suite, those were not employees of the company, is what they're saying. So I guess they thought that it was private enough, because they are not employees of the company. So astronomer, the company said that everybody in that suite were not employees of the company. So it was just the two of them. I heard she is married to a billionaire. She's married to a billionaire, and she sits on the board of the company that he owns. The husband of but they're divorced. I think they are divorced already. So, but the guy is not divorced yet. Wife and husband definitely winning in court, and evidence is public domain globally. I mean, he was worth 1.3 billion. a week ago. Not anymore. I mean, if I'm the one, I'm gonna make sure that you're not worth 1 billion anymore. So okay, let's talk about BTS project. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were wondering, like, because the wife is super pretty. She's very, very beautiful. I saw her picture. She's so beautiful. And so a lot of people were wondering, if you are going to cheat and lose like half your half your wealth, you would do that for someone younger, right? And the girl that he was with, I'm sure she was like probably pretty when she was younger. She's not that young anymore. And a lot of people were wondering why, why do this? They would, as I've said, a lot of people were saying like I would understand if it's like an 18-year-old or something, but I don't think it's really is about. I think most of the time cheating isn't really about the looks or how attractive the other person is. I think it's more about like we're getting into psychology, but I don't think it's about that. I think more it's more about like it's the thought of the excitement of being able to do something that you're not supposed to do and getting away with it. I think that's more than anything. That's what it is about. So yeah, cheating isn't about the looks. It's about ego and insecurity. It's love, fairy lane. It has no filters. I don't think that's love, honestly. I don't think. I think he has the his family was so beautiful. Was was the family is beautiful. He has lovely kids, lovely wife. I'm sure they have a happy marriage. So I think it was just the excitement of knowing that you're doing something you're not supposed to do and you're not getting caught. So maybe it's like work wife and work husband kind of thing. Oh my God. That is horrible. That concept of work husband and work wife is so horrible. Um, I'm smarter. I can betray you without getting caught. Yeah, I think that's more. It's more about that. Okay, let's talk about BTS. BTS project. So, as I make some changes in my life, trying to sort of free up more time so that I can do more things that I love doing. Again, to those subscribers of YouTube, my members of YouTube actually got like 45 minutes of me just ranting about the next step that I am about to take. But I am I'm trying to like free up my time so that I can do more of the things that I love doing. As I've mentioned to them, like I'm not getting any younger. So the thought is like, when do I get to do what I want to do? Right? When do I get to do those things? Want to go down? No. So when do I really get to do all of those things? And so, um, like when do I start checking, going to my bucket list, right? And really, I love pop culture. I love movies and TV shows and music, artists. I love traveling. I love exploring and getting to know other cultures and stuff like that. So I'm trying to like free up my time to be able to do those things. Um, I've always thought that, one of the reasons I I started one of the reasons I really work very, very hard to try and save as much as I can is so that I can get to a point where I would feel like I'm okay, even if I don't work anymore, I'll be fine. I'll be able to pay my bills and all of those things. And I think I am in that stage, not here. Like if I lose like a job and not earn anymore, I will have to go back to the Philippines in order to have enough money to sustain me. Um, so will have to go back. So I don't have a lot of money. It's just that it is enough for me to be able to live in the Philippines. So I'm happy that I got there. It took me a while, but I'm happy that I got there. So I was thinking like, when do I get to do, like, isn't this what I've been working hard for, right? To be able to do the things that I want to do. And so I'm trying to free up a lot of my time for me to be able to do those things that I want. So as I've said, I want to do like more movies, TV shows, talk about, meet interesting people, travel, things like, and I'd probably get one more dog. What do you think? He doesn't like it. um, so okay, so one of the major projects that I decided to do, and I think this is probably like the biggest project that I want to do for BTS, is to document their legacy. And when I say legacy, I'm not just talking about mentioning their charts, like their charts performance or the records that they have been breaking and stuff like that, but really talk about long term, like what is it that they're going to be leaving behind. Because as you know, many of the greats, it's usually the recognition of their legacy it comes in late, usually much later, usually after their prime. Okay, I want to go down. Why? He's being dramatic. Okay. Shema. I know, wait. Mommy? Mom? Mom? I think he needs to go. I think he needs to pee. Okay, so one of the major things that so a lot of these greats, they actually don't get the kind of recognition that they deserve until much later. Like for example, for Michael Jackson, we didn't really start appreciating his impact when he was alive. People were so caught up in the things that have been happening in his personal lives, all the accusations of him being, this and that. People were so fixated in trying to break him, and the media was taking advantage of all this, that there when he was there in his prime, no one really realizes just how important his contributions were. And the same thing is true for BTS. People were so fixated about them breaking apart, all those stunts that the fans were doing to try to get access to them. They weren't speaking for a while. And then Whitney Houston is also the same. Tragically, her life ended very early. But during her prime, even people were criticizing her, calling her not black enough, like she wasn't singing black songs and whatever. That it wasn't until later that people realized, wait a minute, like let's look at just how they really changed the music industry. And also I think it lends itself to that, because usually for you to get a better view, like a more comprehensive view of what is happening, you kind of have to stand a little farther from what you're looking at, right? So time has to pass first for you to have a better idea on what is actually on how things have changed. And so I think that is the same thing for BTS. That's what's going to happen for BTS. I think at the end of the day, we're going to be seeing the recognition only after their prime, maybe a decade or two from now. However, the one disadvantage that BTS has is that English is not their language. That is not the primary language that they use to sing and to communicate. That is the biggest hurdle. And so while it is easier for more people to understand Thriller, or to understand Imagine or Blackbird, or all of the songs that they have done, it isn't so it's not as easier for people to understand.
Diba? Come here.
He needs to go pee.
Come here. What do you think?
You need to go.
Come here, come here.
He doesn't want to go pee. Go pee, pee, pee.
Come on, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Be a good boy. Come on.
You hear my mom? He's just trying to convince Debak to go.
No,
He
no,
doesn't
no,
want to
no.
go. Okay, so I think that is the biggest hurdle for BTS, that people, it will take a little longer for people to actually appreciate this, yeah,
Mm.
to appreciate what they have done because they don't understand
See
their
you.
language. And so, and a lot of the recognition, a lot of the articles that are
Mama,
being written about them, they're also written in Hangul. So it's so hard to get to accumulate um, to accumulate resources and articles that actually frames what they have done in a proper way. And then the other thing is because the stigma is still so very strong right now, it isn't easy for people to take them seriously. So if you put them all together, there's an extra hurdle that people will have to get through in order to recognize what BTS really has done for the global music industry. And so that's where this project is coming from. I feel like there is a need to clearly document from an objective point of view and very, very clearly how BTS is changing the global music landscape that unfortunately is not getting recognized by many because of the nature of their language. Okay, and the fact that they are known as a boy band. Okay, so I want to be able to document that. I want to be clear because a lot of people are saying like, oh, they're changing the musical landscape, and the question is always, okay, but how, right? When it is the Beatles and Michael Jackson, it's very clear. When you ask how they changed the music industry, you can list all the ways on how they changed it. And then there's the just like the visible way on how they actually changed it. But for BTS, it's so vague. To this day, people can't specifically say, okay, how exactly are they changing? What is it that they have done for anybody to put them in the same league as Michael Jackson and the Beatles? What is the revolution that they have brought in the music industry? And so that's what I want to document. I want to document that very clearly. And many of these things I've actually done a video for. So I've been analyzing their songs, and not just me. There's a lot of other artists, a lot of other content creators that are doing the same thing. That they focus very very heavily on the analysis of the songs, how they're changing the musical landscape, and so I want to be able to create a document or documents that would put those things very clearly, enumerate very clearly what is it that they have introduced that is new and that will influence change and that will actually set the future of music. So I want to create a documentary and a book that would just be a critical analysis of BTS's legacy. And again, this is not just about achievements. It's not just about charts. They were number one here, number one there, sales here, sold out concerts there. That's not just it. Because as we know, records are meant to be broken. I mean, even the records of the Beatles and Michael Jackson and with Whitney Houston and Elvis, their records are being broken. So someday, the records of BTS are going to get broken. But what will not be broken is the impact that they have made in the music industry, and that's what I want to concentrate on. Just what is it that they have done that is changing the music industry globally, not just for Asia, not just for Korea, but global, not even just for North America, but globally. So as I've mentioned, some of these things I've already discussed in a video, but I feel like putting it in a mainstream published material will be better because then 10, 20 years from now, then people can go back and refer to this document and see, okay, that BTS actually started all of this. So some of the points I already made is how they actually explored full narratives across different art forms. Now, just want to make it clear, BTS is not the only one who created a narrative and translated it into one form or two forms or three, right? There are other artists, even the Beatles have done that. They would create a song and then they will create a music video, and the narratives will complement each other. but they have done it in not just in a music video and a song. They've done it with books, they've done it with short films, and then they would continue it across different eras, across different albums and across different eras, and then they have one narrative per album. And then if you put the series together, that's another bigger narrative. And then you have a bigger narrative that when you connect all of their albums together. So, and then of course the complex messages have been inspired by classic literature, psychological concepts, and all of those things. The way that they have changed fan artist relationships, fandoms to super fans to communities. I know that a lot of K-pop fans are going to say, well, that the super fans concept didn't start with them. Yeah, but they have, as it's not about who is first, but who's actually made a bigger impact. And the truth is that before, the fans were cash cows in the K-pop industry. That a lot of these idols would communicate at the end goal is just so they can sell something. But BTS is the first one that really nurtured a relationship, and it's almost a two-way relation, as two-way as it can be given the situation. And then the way that they have stayed ahead of AI. I A lot of people still don't realize the impact, or still can't envision the impact that AI is going to make in the music industry, but it's really going to change the landscape. And I made a video about that, how AI is really going to change the very definition of music. Because if AI can copy emotion, that they can't be emotional, but they can copy emotion. If they can copy the formula of a hit, then what's going to make it different from the art that humanity is creating? And the answer really is the source, right? It is art, and this is just how I think it's going to happen. Like, the definition of art will change. The primary requirement is that it has to be made by a human being. If it is not made by a human being, it's just a product. It is going to sound like art, but it's going to be different. The problem is that a lot of the things that AI is going to create will sound better than what people are going to create. And so it's just, what will be left will be artists that are really great in what they do. So we will still have space for the Teddies of this world, Teddy of Black Label, who are just machines in creating hits, right? Like, he knows how to create a hit. He knows the sound he needs to create in order to get fans for the group that he is nurturing. But those are mediocres. As it is now, they are mediocres. So what will set the real artists apart will be the quality of that, what they're making. So it's not just that it has to be made by human, but it also has to be better than what machines are creating. BTS managed to stay ahead of that because they created art that even machines won't be able to replicate. So all of these things and many more is what I kind of want to document. So it is some sort of an archive. Someone asked, like, is it an archive? It is some sort of an archive, but also putting it in proper context, because as I've said, a lot of people don't realize the actual impact. Like, it's not solid in their head, it's not tangible. Like, if you ask them, they will just keep on saying, and of course, this, we should not stop talking about it. Like, a lot of people online will just talk about how great BTS is, how they're changing the music industry, but they can't exactly name how. Like, if you ask them, okay, how are they changing the music industry, what did they introduce that is new, a lot of them still can't enumerate that. And that's what I want to do. I want it to be tangible, to be able to tell people exactly how they're changing the music industry. So what that's what I want to make. And I can't do that alone. The future is outside of that book and that documentary. I do want to eventually license BTS's IP so that we can develop like storylines, Bangtan Universe, the Seven Fates Chakos, because nothing is happening as of the moment. But that is the future, like way, way, way into the future. I think the more immediate goal for me is to just be able to document that in a book and in a documentary. So the next step would be the planning process, right? I need to plan how it is that I'm going to do that. Like, what are the resources that I need, the network, the timeline. As I've said, there's so many armies that are already doing it, like really framing and analyzing the success of BTS and how they're changing the music industry. So I want to be able to compile all of that um, in one material, so that, as I've said, it's very clear for people how BTS actually changes the music industry. Okay. So there are, of course, the biggest problem is money, right? Because we do need funding to do something like this. It's a tall order to document the greatness of somebody like BTS. And so there are different options, one of which is to do a pilot and then shop it around. So, for example, you do a pilot. If you do a documentary first, you do a pilot, and then you go to Prime, the Amazon Prime, for example, or Netflix, and try to sell it to them. So what's going to happen is that they're going to pay you to be able to do the series. They'll buy the first one and you'll do the series, something like that. And then you can also pitch to different companies from the very beginning. So you have just a concept, and then you go to them and tell them, okay, this is what I want to do, and then hoping that they will fund whatever it is that you want to do. And then the other option would be corporate funding. You just approach different companies, they sponsor so that their products will appear in whatever it is that you're doing. And then the last one is crowdsourcing. It used to be much easier to do crowdsourcing, not anymore because of, there's so many people that are crowdsourcing, but that's still an option. I don't know. Get a showrunner. Usually, a showrunner will come on board once you have the funding already. But yes, a showrunner is definitely necessary once you have like a clear path. Okay, so that's one. And then is do I want Hybe involvement? Yeah, definitely. I do want to be able to interview people. I want to interview BTS, of course, first and foremost. I want to interview Bang Shiyuk. I want to interview the production team, including P Dog, Slow Rabbit, the people that were with them from the beginning and just involved not just in the music itself, but in creating this universe that they have created. Like, who who introduced this idea? Was it RM? Was it Bang Shiyuk? Who? How did you all come up with this idea? And who contributed to all of that? And then I also want to interview, like, even the early music, the early makeup artists that they had, the bodyguards, and of course early armies. If I can track every single person, every single army who showed up in their very first fan sign behind the building, like behind the store, they had like a very, very small fan sign. I would interview them if I can find them. And then, of course, on a larger scale, I want to interview industry critics, historians, innovators. So, for example, I think it is important to interview historians. So this is the planning process, like research, organization, outline, interviews, writing, and then editing. But, like, for example, for the people that I want to interview, I think it's important that you get outsiders because they're the ones that are going to provide a wider context. Um, because if the claim is that they're changing the music industry, then we need to understand then what is the music industry right now. For them to change it, for them to bring the kind of change they're claiming, we need the before and after. So we need to interview historians, all of those things. And I think the reason I think this is the kind of project that should come from someone else instead of BTS or Hybe itself is that um, you there's it's one thing to talk about your own contribution, but it's another for someone else to attest to that contribution. And it's not like this is my opinion, right? That is the reason I want to get experts. I want to get historians, psychologists, marketers. I want to interview people from the major labels because I want them to talk about the industry itself so that when we introduce the changes that BTS are making, then it's clear that there is a before and after. Okay. All right. So, for example, um, there are some expenses, and I think printing of the book is actually the most the cheapest part because you can do like a print on demand kind of arrangement. But the biggest expense will just be like flight if you need to go to a place to interview somebody. That's those things are the most expensive ones. And if I'm going to get people that will help me, they need to get paid, right? I can't expect that they are going to offer their services for free. We all need to pay our bills. So I'm sure the people will need to work, they will need to earn. And if this is their specialty, they do deserve to get paid. And so that's why I need funding to be able to do this. Okay. The end goal is that, for us to emphasize that BTS, like many other artists before them, was really ahead of their time. The goal is to establish that the evolution actually started with BTS, how they changed how music is consumed, what music is, as I've said, what art is, artist and consumer relationship, the role of future technology will play in art, and talk about the complexities of their messages. So that's the end goal, to actually document and be made clear and make it clear to everybody what their legacy is. So these are some of the people that I want to interview. I want to interview music historians so that they can provide information on the evolution of music consumption. How is it different from 60 years ago when it was the Beatles to Michael Jackson to and then finally BTS? How is it changing? Okay. And then I want to interview major labels because they are the ones that are actually adapting the system of BTS, right? They want to create super fans. They're nurturing the fans now. So I want to know, like, okay, how is it affecting the way that you're building your artists, you're marketing your artists, you're building the brand of your artists? So I definitely want to get, and again, to find connections, just the expenses on dinner. You think that some dinners are just luxury, but some actually they're necessities just to be able to get people to connect you to other people. Okay, I want to interview psychologists and sociologists because I want to understand how music is consumed, what music is for, and how it is different when it is BTS. Okay. So okay, so and then if you have any other idea on who should I interview, how I should go about it, it's a major undertaking. But given that I'm like starting to think this, and then the other thing is that this is not the only thing that I'm doing, right? I'm also writing my own novel, um, creating the Asian entertainment and culture as its own brand. So all of those things put together, it's really a huge undertaking for me. So I guess I'm like one of during the weekend. That's one of the things that I decided. Okay, I'm gonna do this because I just want to be able to do the things that I love to do, and I don't know when I'm going to start it. I'm definitely passionate about BTS, their music. I'm passionate about Asian entertainment and culture. So I want to do this project. So, yeah, I think the reason I decided to say that is that when you sort of speak it, it becomes a bit more like true. Like it's out there now, it's alive, it has a name, so to speak. um, yeah, and then to get ideas, if you have any other ideas, it's a huge undertaking. And yeah, it's everything is easier when there is funds. So I think that's also a major concern for me, like where do I start? Even I think in the beginning I will definitely be spending my own money and then eventually start to get funding for that. But an interview with Jamie Fallon would be interesting just because so much of the industry sits down beside him. um yeah, definitely him. um, he would be a great addition. But I think more than him, it's really the historians that it's not even the the it's not even like the usual writers of Forbes or Billboard that I'm looking at, but actual historians, those that are really sitting down and are studying the industry in general. That's the kind of insight. I think that's one of the the frustration that I had when I was reading the book about Jungkook, the meaning of Jungkook. because I was hoping for things like that. I was hoping that she would sit down with a voice expert, like a music expert, like someone who does classical singing and whatever, or teaches music, and then really get down to like analyzing the quality of the voice of Jungkook, like and get a professional dancer, someone that is not very involved in K-pop, and then talk about how is this movement different. Talk about personality development experts and see, like, can we actually pin down what is it with Jungkook that makes him so enigmatic, right? That's what I was looking for. Because if you're just going to rely on fans and you're just going to then they'll just be praising BTS, and and we need that. But also, like, from a more analytical point of view, I want to hear from people who aren't involved so much on K-pop, because that's where you will get a more, most likely, right? The most likely, that's where you're going to get a more objective take on things. So if I interview like a music historian, because I know Jimmy Fallon is a fan of BTS, he's a friend of BTS and also a fan of BTS. But if I interview just like a music historian who's not just he's just concerned about music in general, then most likely I'm going to get a more factual take on, okay, talk to me about like the trends of music, like how people are consuming music, and the where are the different influences coming from and whatever. And then the ideal thing is to not just talk up to one historian, but actually talk to many historians. But some historians specialize in hip hop, and then there are historians who specialize in rock. Some specialize in the East, and some specialize in the West, and whatever. So I want a balanced approach on all of those things. Carla girl, you can interview me. Okay, I will interview you. So what you're about to undertake is massive and so very expensive. I know. I believe me, there's like a lot of things that went to my head, like, should I, like, should I pitch this to Billboard or Rolling Stone or whatever? I don't know. But I wanted to speak it because, as I've said, I feel like once I say it, then it becomes more tangible, it becomes real. So yeah, that's the reason I decided, okay, I'm gonna share it with you guys. Like, I know that there are many influencer, like content creators on YouTube, that talk about like their influence, right? Like the quality of their music interpretations and stuff like that. And I will definitely be reaching out to some of them. But again, outside of that, I want to interview people that are not very attached to K-pop as a genre, because I feel like that's where I'm going to be able to reach a balance in terms of materials. I think rather than Jimmy Fallon, it would be interesting to hear from television producers and the changes they had to make to host BTS, and whether it changed their approach with future guests. Will a music historian be open to BTS? Some turn up their nose because of the K-pop label. Yeah, I'm not really going to be talking to them about BTS, but just about the landscape in general, right? Because once we know the landscape, then it's easy to like place BTS there. So I'm sure some of them will be snobbish because of the label. But the goal is to find someone that is just objective about things. Yeah. Agree with the impact, agree with the project. It will make the project more authentic. How BTS is changing the way people see award shows, and how these organizations seem to always change the way votes are counted and always seem to move the bar and that much higher and farther away. Except for Fallon has sat down with thousands of musicians and actors. What was so different about BTS that caused him to go the extra mile? There are historians who have made presentations on BTS. I know there's this professor in some part of the country. I don't know where that is, but he's spoken about BTS. It's like his specialty is sociology, but he knows about BTS, so I definitely want to interview him as well. Um, you could introduce. Yeah, I tried reaching out to him, so I'm waiting for a response. He responded and then didn't follow up again. So I can only do so much. Go for it, fair lane, and you can make the changes as it goes with your project vision. Yeah, and then yeah, so that's the vision, because I feel like, a lot of the people that are publishing things about BTS, it's natural for them to earn money. Like, it takes time and it takes energy and of course your expertise in order to create uh, a content for people to consume. And it's not like Hybe or Big Hit is able to provide all the needs, right? It's one thing if Hybe is just providing everything. The truth is that it isn't. Like, there are some things that they aren't able to provide, and so fans are there to do that. And then the other thing is, I also don't want to ever minimize the contribution of fans, because the reason BTS was able to penetrate the North American market easier was the fans, because the fans were hyping them up. Fans were creating content for them. Fans were translating for them. Fans were creating memes. Fans were creating posters. They were creating their own programs in order to support the music of BTS. So fans' content, they're important. Those are very, very important. And I will never ever minimize the contribution of that. So those are things are important. But there's also a larger majority that are just there for the clout. And I wish that we could balance both. That sure you should earn, but you should also provide like value to the fans. Oh yeah, Penn State University. Yeah, he's from Penn State University. And someone told me like, oh, try to reach out, and I probably will. It's just that I want to find someone that can introduce me to him, because that I think I'm going to. I wrote him out of the blue. I'm sure that he went to his spam because he doesn't know me. But so I think the better way is to find somebody that can introduce me to him. Okay. Um, Well, Fairlane, you ever do something on disco? I got you covered with the second most popular after BGs. Okay, so that's the project for BTS. Wish me luck, and then if you have suggestions, let me know. Um, yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. The At least the website is already launched. The next step is to just make sure, I'm going through some legal stuff like documentation, registration of some things. After that, it would be this at Penn State. Yeah, I've watched some of his videos, so yes, he's very, very good. Okay, we have enough time for one more topic. Like, please share the website again. I'm revising it once it is done, but it is Asian Entertainment here. I'll type it here. There. So, am I able to pin it or something like that? Okay. All right. I think we have enough time for one more topic. Don't you think? We can finish this. Please include the lady Korean professor. Who's that? Who's the lady Korean professor? Who's the lady Korean professor? Let me know. Okay, so I think we have one more. We can do one more topic, right? Okay, so BELIFT submitted. They had a hearing on the 18th, and they submitted some of their rebuttals against what minheejin has been accusing um, it of. All right. So one of the major things that have been happening is that anytime anything is done by it, by Le Seraphim, by anybody, practically anybody, any girl group under Hive, is that there's always somebody accusing them of plagiarism. And I think this is what happens. Even and that is I've mentioned in the last live, it's really distorting the meaning of plagiarism, which is frustrating for creators like me and for artists. I consider myself an artist. There's not like there's anything you can do about it. That's just how I consider myself to be. um, uh, so because people are throwing that word like it's nothing. Now it doesn't mean anything anymore. That's the problem. And so, and all of this is because it has been normalized. The accusation of somebody plagiarizing you has been normalized. And the truth is that influences are normal. We've been doing it so many. That's how we evolve and that's how we progress. We see something, we evolve it. And then somebody sees something like that, they evolve it. But essentially, that's what she started. Like anything you do, I will shred it into the smallest pieces and find the similarity with what I have done and call that plagiarism. Okay, so as you know, BELIFT filed a complaint against minheejin. Primarily, they're saying that what she has done, because of the accusations that she has done against IELIT has lost many business opportunities and many income opportunities. That's actually the bottom line of it, right? There is damage done to IELIT. So Min Hee-jin claimed that Eileen copied New Jeans in style, concept, and activities, and she made the accusation during a press conference following the management audit by HYUK. And then in that press conference, if you would remember, she actually, the person that she mentioned the most is Sakura. There's something about Sakura, but that's the rest. She kind of was like alluding to, but Sakura she actually mentioned several times. So BeLift Lab denied the claims and said that they were false and they damaged IELIT. So they're seeking monetary compensation for the damages that she has done. So the main point is that Min Hee-jin used her platform to target and discredit a new group, which is IELIT. They were like 4 months old at that time, I think. And they claimed that Min Hee-jin's statement were not for the public good, but just for personal gain. Because it's one thing to say, like, you're copying, and that's not good for the art industry versus you're copying me, right? That's two different things. And they also, BeLift emphasized that IELIT debuted only a month before the press conference, and they have been unfairly branded copycats. Okay, so they went through her arguments, and they said the comparison. They presented the comparisons between IELIT and New Jeans. So in concept, it's very very different. IELIT has a very dreamy fairy tale concept with magical girl themes, and if you watch their music videos, their performance, you can see that the lore itself lends itself to that. So it's they're magical girls. So they have abilities, they have superpowers. And if you follow what's happening in their music videos, you know that they are sort of progressing the narrative. So now we're at the stage where we're kind of realizing what kind of world that they're into. Because in the beginning, if you watch their music video, it's confusing. Are they in the real world or are they in the magical world trying to get out of it to come to the real world? Or like are there two islets or do they change form or whatever? Now it's kind of starting to become clear. um, that's how they're progressing the story. Okay, now for New Jeans though, it's Y2K concept. It's very like clean girl, all natural kind of image, very nostalgic kind of concept. Okay, now, New Jeans also has usually works with one producer, and they are very much influenced by like early hip hop. But Isle It has multiple composers, and it's very pop oriented, and even their performances they're very very different. So, for example, for Isle It, they started in a survival show and they had very public exposure before debut versus New Jeans they counted on a surprise drop. So even before they had nothing before the actual debut. And then there is the performance. I'll It, their choreography actually tells a story. If you know their lore and you watch their choreography, you will realize that they're actually telling a story in their choreographies. So it helps. It's not really interpretative dancing, but it's more like just progressing the narrative. Kind of like BTS, right? You can see that there is a story in how they are choreographed. As opposed to New Jeans, they're very freestyle. old hip hop basically is what they're going for. So I'll It dances to the lyrics. New Jeans dances to the beat. You can probably compare it like that. So New Jeans, their center is the beat. I'll It center is the lyrics. I hope that makes it clearer. Okay. So they said that Min's accusation relied heavily on online community posts, not objective evidence. So apparently, Min Hee-jin presented comments that she found on the Ku, which is a forum in South Korea. She also presented comments on Facebook, Twitter, which are just fans that are claiming that that I'll It reminds them of New Jeans. And for them, that is enough to prove that I'll It copied them. Mami, naririnig yung... Okay. So that's... okay. Next slide. All right. So the problem is that the main one of the main problem is that you shouldn't rely on public impression. That is not They are not the ones that determine which is original and which is a copy. But also they've planted Min Hee-jin and her camp have planted so many paid accounts online to start hate against the different groups of Hive. Like this account, for example, started in March 2025 and they already posted over 11,000 times. And they are sharing court documents that can only be accessed by those that are involved in the case. And so many of these people that are starting this hate campaign, they're actually planted. So how can you rely on public opinion that is being driven by people you planted, right? It's one thing to get an audience of objective people. It's another if you're relying randomly on any account that you find, and many of them are planted and paid by your organization. So BELIFT criticized Min Hee-jin for using common dance moves. Okay. So as you know, I think it's here. So many of these dance moves that they are claiming to have been copied by It, New Jeans also copied from someone else. Like many of these dances are very, very common. The cat daddy, these are common dance moves in K-pop or in the African hip hop, the African American hip hop. So you can't claim to be an original of something that you yourself copied. So of course, like a lot of people were criticizing um where is that? A lot of people were criticizing BELIFT Lab because they're saying that they are dragging anybody in this case now. But it isn't. It's just proof that many of the things that you're saying I copied from you, you copied from somebody else. The truth is that it's not plagiarizing. These are just common dance moves. And then so they also said that they're cherry picking like conversations. You're shredding certain clips to down to its millisecond just as so you can find something in common. And then the coex billboard is something else. Min Hee-jin claimed that photos taken in front of the Eiffel Tower is actually a copy of what New Jeans has already done, when in fact it has been done by many other idols before, and also the hanbok photo shoot. So here is girls' generation back in the first, second generation. They've been taking photos wearing hanboks even then. Okay. So here is Red Velvet also wearing hanbok way before New Jeans. This is G Friend way before New Jeans as well. So they aren't the first to do this. And even the coex video. So this was January 2022. New Jeans debuted June of 2022. And they BTS was already in the coex one, but way before BTS, There was already XO, that SM Town 2020. So they've already been using the COEX as well. Okay. So another one is the Eiffel Tower. She said that if you take a picture in front of the Eiffel Tower, you're copying what New Jeans have done. When in fact, this is Dreamcatcher back in 2018 in front of the Eiffel Tower. And this is back in 2020 for 2021, I think, or 2022, early 2022. And this is, oh no, this is, I have the date here. So this is 2020. ITZY in front of the Eiffel Tower. So this is a common concept. Many idols have already been doing this even before New Jeans. Suddenly, just because you did it and Eyelit did it, you're saying that it is a copy. So BELIFT said that even New Jeans, even if New Jeans has similarities to past groups like G Friend, that doesn't make them copies. So school uniforms, bridge running scenes, dreamy photo filters. It doesn't. They're not saying that New Jeans are copies. It's not at all. They're saying that that's natural for you to use things or wear the same clothes that other idols have worn before, or at least the concept. So they BELIFT Lab ended it by saying that your facts aren't facts. It's based on public opinion, and many of these people you've planted, in fact, on online. So they are seeking damages. However, um, the judge said that BELIFT argued that there was harm caused, including decrease in Eyelit SNS followers, drop in album sales, and the cancellation of advertising contracts. However, the conclusion are unclear. Claims for passive damages and compensation must be provided for the next trial. So, okay, this statement is being manipulated by, as you would understand, many bunnies, and of course, those that are siding with them. They're saying that the judge is saying that there is no merit to any of the things that BELIFT said. That's not true. The only thing that the judge is saying, in fact, he's not denying the validity of the arguments of BELIFT. He's just saying that I get you that these are not copies, but you've got to prove that what she said caused you damage. Remember, somebody can lie about you, but if that lie does not harm you, that's not libel. Remember, if you have any doubt, don't take it from me, take it from a lawyer whom I interviewed, Ken Sterling, 3 months ago, and he discussed that a lie isn't libelous unless it damages you. So that is what the judge is saying. He didn't say that whatever it is that you're saying is not real. He's just saying okay, but you're gonna have to prove that her lies caused you damages. So in the next hearing, you have to present proof that there is decrease in SNS followers, that you lost opportunities, that you lost sales. Otherwise, she just lied. And that's not libelous. A lie isn't necessarily libelous. Okay, so always remember that. Just because somebody lied doesn't mean that it is libelous. In fact, if somebody lied about you, for example, somebody lied about me, and then after that, I gained like 1 million followers on my YouTube channel and started doubling or tripling my income, I can't go to the court and tell the court it is libelous because the court is just going to say, okay, young lady or old lady, what is your proof? What is it that you lost because he said something shitty about you? Prove it. And if I show them, well, my primary source of income, you know, it doubled, the court's just gonna say, get the hell out of here. I'm done for you. Okay. So question. So Miss Fairlane, does that mean that eyelid breaking through is a bad thing in the lawsuit? Um, not necessarily, unless it's not, that per se is not a bad thing. That per se is not a bad thing. What would be bad is if they cannot prove that eyelid would have moved higher or faster if it wasn't for the lawsuit. And also, damages should, it can be not just It can be other than money. It's not. It doesn't have to be just money. It can be about something else. So for as long as they can prove that, then they're fine. So that is a, so again, people are gonna say like, oh, the judge said that. No, the judge said he didn't say anything about BELIFT being wrong. He just said you're gonna have to prove that it damaged you, that her lies damaged you. The all the silliness about copying the handbook concept and the Eiffel Tower photos. If all of those, you have to prove that that caused damage. If you can't prove that, then we're so. It's just freedom of expression, unfortunately. Okay, where is the shaman in the laptop? I'm going to write a horror movie, the laptop and the shaman. Mama Roach, the Mama Roach, the laptop, and the shaman. How's that? Are you gonna watch that? Or are you gonna be too scared to watch it? Oh wait, maybe that's a comedy. I don't know. B lift should be easy to get proof for it. It should be easy for them to prove to prove that. I mean, that should be, especially because as I've said, the judge didn't say anything about the judge didn't deny the validity of what the lawyer is saying. He's just saying, well, you're gonna have to prove that it damaged you. Otherwise, she's just a liar. Doesn't make her a criminal. Strange laws we have. I tell you that. Strange laws we have. Didn't the Isle It girls suffer emotional damage? Or you remember they were being anxious? They have to prove that as well. So unless they actually get like doctor's certificate or whatever, then that's one thing that's one of the many things that they can prove, that they can use as evidence, the emotional damage. But yes, it doesn't have to be just financial losses. It can be something else as well. Please do the irrelevant and the five moods. It will be the number one bestseller. Or should it be under comedy or should it be under horror or horror comedy? It gives B Lift more time to get the receipts. B Lift lawyers would not have gone through with the lawsuit if they had not proof of the damage done to Eyelid. Comedic horror. Okay, we are over time, 2 hours and seven. So, as I've mentioned, there are some changes that I'm making with my schedule. So, the whole point is so that I can do more live streams, talk about other things more, start going back into my novel, start this project with big hit with BTS, and finish the other project with my website and the branding and all of those stuff. So I'm pretty confident that I will finally have the free time to do more live streams and to do more videos and stuff like that. So, and then if you can, please be a member of my the paid membership on YouTube. That's where I'm a bit more like, you can just ask the members. Like the live stream, I was so unhinged. I was just saying things. I think I disclosed like, I don't know. Huh, okay. But it's paid member, so I whatever. All right. Thank you so much for being with me, and I'll see you Wednesday is my next live stream. Please watch the video that will be airing this afternoon tonight, and I'll see you Wednesday. Thank you. Bye. 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 Oh, don't forget to like the video. Yes, please like the video.